So today was actually supposed to be like a day I went into the office because like Wednesdays my team goes into the office. Yes, I work an all remote job, which is great because like my office is pretty nicely set up for like remote stuff, but it does not work if there is no internet at the office. So at about like 7:20 a.m. this morning, I actually got a message saying, "Hey, by the way, there's no internet, which without internet, how can I do a lot of my work? But like, how do you access Jira? How do you access meetings? Like all this stuff, like what do you do without the internet?" I mean, even yesterday I had a brief moment without the internet. So that's why I look like a real person today, because I was gonna go into the office. I guess I still could go into the office. I still need gas. I need to get coffee because I've only had like the 1 cup of coffee today, and that would be it. It's a very challenging thing for me to decide, but I don't know. I'm about like 10 minutes before I'd have to decide, basically, so I could either be there for meetings or be there not for meetings, like that kind of deal. So I have a feeling I'm probably not going to go into the office today. Because I'll just work from home to make sure like I stay connected to the internet. All right, time for some work. And it's meeting-ish time. So I gotta turn on the light there. Well, light's on, camera's on. I just use like my streaming camera. You hungry? Okay. All right, it's time to let you outside. And there's a little bit of time left that I can grab some coffee. I can make some coffee real quick. I got these commenter pod things. They're pretty good. Which one's this one? This one's strawberry, your gotcha or whatever. Strawberry, raspberry, dark chocolate. I don't know. It beats me having to like make the pods. But what I also really like about them is I can use them in the Keurig, which is great. It makes it super easy. So they're just these little pods here. I can use them in the Keurig, but they're also recyclable. So basically, after the coffee gets melted, because it's all like coffee concentrate, I can just toss it into the recycling. Very much like this, just, and it goes into the recycling. Gotta grab the Brita. The only downside is you do have to get the proper amount of water. So they say between 6 and 8 ounces. And the Keurig does have these little marks on the side that I use. I mean, it makes almost a full cup of coffee, which is great. So I had all these plans for this vlog to be like, why would I want to go to the office as like a remote worker? Because like my job is full-time remote. But alas, it's gonna be cut with full of like videos like going into the car and all that jazz, but that's not happening. I gotta go find my AirPods for this meeting, and I have 5 minutes to do so. So then we'll continue this conversation afterwards. All right, so I'm set up for the meeting, AirPods in so that it's all connected, all that fun stuff. Most of this will be sped up, and you just won't see anything actually happen. Sped up, zoomed in. Yeah, so today, like in this vlog, I really want to talk about like the purpose of like of going into the office, and why, like, even though I'm like a remote worker, like why would I actually like going into the office? So that's what we'll talk about after this meeting, and maybe after some other meetings. All right, and that meeting is done. What is next? So that was like my stand-up, which is fine. So apparently my manager's in the office. They did fix the internet, so that's like a big plus. So like, you know, we could go use the internet now, if we wanted to. My manager's in the office. I have one more meeting at 11, but like, let's revisit the topic. Like, why am I even considering going into the office? Like, is it the point of remote work? Like, you don't have to go into the office. And there's a couple key points I want to point out here. Key things I want to point out here with remote work, like in working remote at a 100% remote company. Yes, like everything that can be done remotely is done remotely, but sometimes like I just need to see other people, because as great as my animals are, they are not the best to like converse with, especially because I can't really talk back with them. So like that's one of the things. And then is like being able to talk back and talk with like people and, you know, socialize and stuff like that. Then there's also the fact of, you know, sometimes if you have a question, it's really easy to just ask the person next to you. So like, being able to just bounce ideas back and forth, like, is really nice. And then finally, the third reason is it's also good to build a rapport with your coworkers. And like, as great as like online tools are and meetings are, there still isn't a good substitute for like actual person-to-person interactions for doing things like that. Yes, every other week we do a lunch and learn, and then the opposite weeks we do like coffee chats, which are great and work kind of well for the team. But like, it's still not the same as just bumping into someone or being like looking over their shoulder and being like, "What are you working on? Like, what's going on there?" So that's like another big plus to like working like at the office at least one day. And you know, I went into like remote work of like, I get to just work from home. This is my desk. This is where I work 100% of the time. To like saying, you know, it would be good to go work with other people at least like 50%, at least not 50, even 50% of the time. Like once a week, every other day. Like, not once a week, every other day. Once a week, every other week. Like, I feel like that's like a perfect amount of time of in the office for me versus not in the office. So it's just something else to like consider. Like, if you're thinking about remote work, you might want to take that into consideration also, because that's one of the things I didn't really necessarily think about was like the socialization that happens with work. I think at my previous job, it's because I didn't actually like my previous, like what I was doing 100% of the time. So like I wasn't, and like you might be like, hey, like you're not supposed to like what you're doing, or like jobs, you know, they're jobs, like they all have parts that you didn't do that you don't like. But you know, I got burned out really quickly, and like it made me not want to go to work. And I think like being burned out on my job, it made me realize like I want to work remote fully 100% of the time. And then, you know, after doing it for July, August, September, October, November, almost 5 months now, like that's like, I realized there are some parts that I do miss from the office. I have to get back to work now. That was just a quick little aside. And then, you know, we'll probably talk about this a little bit later. Okay, so it is a little bit later. Finished up work and all that fun stuff. So, like, I think that, like, a schedule of, like, once a month or once every other week, like, will be a doable schedule for me. And it'll actually help me a bit because, like I said, the pets don't talk back. Like, having someone else to talk to, having someone else that also, like, understands kind of what you're doing, and if you want to talk about it, like, I feel like that's super helpful. So I think going into the office is super helpful for me, purely from, like, a person that wants more interaction standpoint, like, because it gets pretty silent during the day, especially on days that, like, I don't have meetings. Like, today was a lot of, like, no one talked to me. I had one meeting from that one that you saw. That was my only meeting. The other meetings got canceled throughout the day. And then I just worked on what I was supposed to work on. And, you know, the autonomy is great. Like, you get your stuff done and that's it. But, like, there is no, like, social interaction unless someone needs something, which is fine. Like, so there were tasks added in, but usually that's over Slack. Usually there's no, like, talking like out loud to someone. You don't have like the "Hey, how are you doing?" stuff like that like you would in a normal office. And that's just the trade-off with a remote position is you don't have that. And for some people it works out, and for some people they need a little bit more personable interaction. And I think I am one of those people that needs at least a little bit more than none. Like 100% remote is probably not the best for me, but having the option to go into the office is actually pretty good. And that's it for Vlogmas day number 2. That's really all I've got to talk to you about. Really hitting that consistency thing here. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.